At the dawn of 2013, ominous rumors began privately circulating among the Brony fandom that Hasbro had been at work on what was darkly hinted to be the ultimate affront, an alicorn Twilight Sparkle. Intelligence sources traced the origin of the top-secret DHX project to a poster displayed at Brand Licensing Europe and shared on their Twitter page. What they were thinking, or why they would commit such a potentially unspeakable act of heresy, no pony could say.
Hello everypony, Corpulent Brony here. Magical Mystery Cure is an episode that I both loathe and love, stuffing me alternatively with feels varying from melancholy to anger to jubilation. After my first viewing when it aired, which involved lots of yelling at the television, I refused to watch it again for more than a year. Finally, I forced myself to face the episode and found I was now able to deal with the emotions and examine the episode analytically, instead of just analyzing the episode itself though, which has quite honestly been done to death, most thoroughly by His Highness Jesse Wood. I will take you on a magical journey through what would become my eventual acceptance of Twilight Sparkle into my heart as the one true purple polkatudinous Poindexter pony princess, perpetually praised be her name. Our journey begins in the middle of the shortest season of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. Since a lot of viewers may not have been bronies back then, I'll quickly recap the events as I recall them transpiring. As the season wore on, various rumors emerged pointing to the possibility that Twilight Sparkle was going to grow wings. Various pictures cropped up online and, notably, a single solitary sticker in a coloring book, which I found and purchased, figuring it was some sort of error. Twilight Sparkle doesn't have wings, silly. Must have colored the wrong vector there. Ha 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 ha. I wasn't the only one who scoffed at such a preposterous race in desiderata, for the fandom as a whole was vociferously against such a turn of events for various reasons, not the least of which was the imbalance everyone believed would be brought to the friendship at the core of the main six. I opposed the idea for these reasons, in addition to my belief that such a change could transmogrify the Twilight Sparkle I'd grown to love into some pretty prissy pony princess prancing about like some newborn cutie. As time marched inexorably towards the season 3 finale, I ignored all the signs. I wrote them off as unfounded rumors, just like the ones that circulated prior to the season 2 finale, that the happy couple in the highly anticipated wedding was to include one of the main six, a rumor which obviously was found to be completely bogus. I watched the episode as it aired. From the first song, I sighed inwardly and thought to myself, great, another less than stellar season 3 episode. This time a musical. Grand. I settled in for a craptastic time and was not disappointed. Then, as Twilight was led down the astral corridor of prior pony episodes by Celestia herself, and was engulfed in her magic, a lump caught in my throat. As her wings were unfurled in front of her friends back in Ponyville, I began blurting out a cavalcade of obscenities that, as far as I know, are still hanging in space over Lake Okeechobee. My throat sore and my eyes watery, I turned the TV off as Twilight took her first flight, and contemplated my place in the fandom. I considered leaving off and never watching the show again. My favorite horsey funtime program was now some stereotypical piece of princess trash, appealing to little girls who were already daddy's little princesses. Obviously, a grown-ass man like myself had no place here. Knowing Equestria Girls was on its way only solidified this point in my heart. Add to all this princessy frou-frou some insipid little show about a high school populated by horse monsters with disgustingly long legs. It, I thought. I'm blowing this popsicle stand. Screw you, M.A. Larson. But, like a heroin addict to his needle, I couldn't stay away from the pony. In fact, I wrote a poem about this. Allow me to share with the group. As it will be in the future, it was at the birth of Pone. There are only 4 things certain since this fandom has grown. That the Anon returns to MLP, and the neckbeard to his mire, and the burnt Brony's bandaged soul goes wabbling back to the fire. And that after this is accomplished, and the brave new world begins, when all ponies are alicorns and they fly around with silly grins, as surely as water will wet us, as surely as fire will burn, the gods of Hasbro marketing with toys and castles return. I spent the ensuing spring and summer watching old episodes in seasons 1 and 2, delighting in the wondrous days of Pony before they were brought low by the nefarious pinion infection. I ignored Equestria Girls, especially since there was no way I was paying to see such drivel. Once the movie hit Netflix though, a day came where my boredom rivaled my aversion, and I submitted to the Horse Monster High movie. I don't want this to be a review of that particular travesty, but the Pony portions of that movie warmed me to the possibilities now brought upon the show by the alicornification of Twilight Sparkle. I finally saw that this metamorphosis was exactly what she needed. Though I had finally accepted the transformation of Her Highness, I was still reluctant to return to the reason for this analysis, the episode that began it all, Magical Mystery Cure. Once I finally did though, I saw it in a whole new light. As I mentioned earlier, to truly understand why I hated this episode so much, I direct you to the wonderful, albeit very long, video Jesse Wood released on the subject. He covers very well the reasons why this episode bugs me so much, but more than that, I also found much to be loved about this episode. Most of the songs were very memorable, from the fun ditties like Morning and Ponyville and What My Cutie Mark Is Telling Me, to the more emotionally deep tunes like A True True Friend, a song which still, to this day, tugs mercilessly at my heartstrings when the crowd cheers Pinky, and Celestia's ballad as the princess takes us on a star-thronged voyage through the key events that led Twilight to where she was at that moment. I also enjoyed the way her friends' reactions to her ascension were handled. They didn't appear to treat her any differently. They were all still friends. Even Rarity didn't appear to be envious of Twilight attaining what was a huge goal for herself. But overall, I can't really say this episode isn't a steaming pile of manure, because it is. However, I no longer hate it for changing the unicorn I love into an alicorn. Viewings subsequent to the first are no longer tinged with anger, but rather I feel only wonder and elation seeing Twilight take the next step to her eventual ascension as goddess of all ponies and ruler of the world. Until that day, I remain forever her leal servant. So what do all of you think about this episode? Please leave a comment down below and let me know. I look forward to hearing what you felt when you watched this episode, and how you felt about Twilight growing wings out of nowhere. See you later, every Brony. Que te matum Cantio Flash Sentry Esse Delendum.